So this is work done by Ambrose Strout. I'm just presenting it on his behalf. And this is, we looked at replacing the single-use petroleum-based plastics in the post-harvest management of stone fruit quality. So plastic in fruit boxes are preliminarily viewed as a protective barrier against contaminants and obviously maintenance of fruit quality. And there's a gap in the knowledge regarding alternative materials, especially as global environments and regulations are tightened, especially on the overseas market. So we want to evaluate the current industry-specific solutions for replacing the single-use petroleum plastics in the commercial settings. And we also want to determine plastic alternatives to meet the market standards. So in this project, we used 3 nectarines: August Red, Honey Delight, and Regal Pearl. And the plums, we used Ruby Star, African Delight, and Angelinos. The storage period was 5 or 6 weeks at a single temperature regime and a 5-day shelf life period. Fruit was sourced from Tulbagh and Ceres and Simondium. There were 7 treatments with 8 replicates each. In mid-January, the nectarines were sampled. It was repacked and had a 5-week storage, after which we did the post-storage assessments. The plums were sampled in March and repacked also, and then stored for 6 weeks before assessment. So the stone fruit packaging types were compostable liners and outer bags, and it's home compostable. And the punnets that were tested were industrial compostable. All of these packaging were global, at that specific global certification. And some of them were green and others were white. And there's an example of the industrial compostable punnet on the right. So if we firstly look at the nectarines, that you see there is the standard packaging for that specific cultivar, if shrivel sheet or a bag, but in this case it should be a shrivel sheet for the nectarines. And then you can clearly see that there were, and this is for mass loss in grams, average of that for the different cultivars. You can see the green bar is August Red, the Honey Delight is the orange, and the blue is the Regal Pearl. There was some variation, obviously, with that we will see with in normal assessments, but there was clear that the green compostable bag and the sheet and the compostable punnet, you had less mass loss in those treatments. If we look at the plums, actually the commercial standard were the best, where the compostable bags also worked quite well with regards to mass loss on the plums. There's just a more detailed that you can read in when you read the report, where there's definitely in the nectarines here, you can see that the flesh firmness are a little bit lower when you use the compostable products for the August Red. And in some cases, there was a little bit of more variance in the Honey Delight, where there was no differences in the Regal Pearl with regards to flesh firmness. If you look at the shrivel, there were definitely it kept the shrivel levels very low in the August Red and the Honey Delight. If you look at that green compostable sheet, it looks very well. And then once again, the Regal Pearl didn't show significant differences with regards to the shrivel between the treatments. If we look at the plums, obviously the standard packaging maintained the flesh firmness the best in most cases. And the shrivel levels also varied quite, but there was good results with the green sheet in some cases. So compostable bags and shrivel sheets showed promise to replace the PE liners for August Red and Regal Pearl nectarines. and there was no negative effect on the flesh firmness, moisture loss, and shrivel. Compostable punnets tested in the first season was the best to retain fruit weight for that tested plums. It was only done on the plums. And the PE liners maintained higher flesh firmness for the Ruby Star and the African Delight plums. So the compostable sheets showed promise to replace the polyethylene liners for Angelino plums as well. I just want to thank Goosen Boerdery and Tulpak Packhouse and their staff, and also the Experico lab team for the evaluations. All right, thank you.